will my will in Canada be enough to pass my Belizean property to my children when I die? Or do I also need a Belizean will? This is coming in from Teresa. Thank you for that question, Teresa. So the way it works is that I advise all clients that if you have real property here in Belize, I'm talking about land or a condo, a home, it is best to have a Belizean will. Any assets, physical assets on the ground in Belize. Now, some not only land, but also motor vehicles, jewelry, artwork, the contents of your home, you should have a Belizean will. Why? Well, there's two reasons why. There's a multitude of reasons why, but two of them are, well, one, it is faster, more time sensitive to have your Belizean will probated in our court system here in the High Court of Belize, as opposed to having a foreign will, which typically must be first recognized in this jurisdiction. Yes. And then once it's recognized, well, now you're having it probated according to our probate law. So it's always more cost effective, and that's the second one, cheaper to just have a Belizean will and then have that probated rather than, again, that foreign route, a foreign will that needs to be recognized, and then, again, the same thing as a local will, probated. So, yes, Teresa, it would be a good idea. Absolutely, please do.
So when we set up our Canadian will, we then set up our Belizean will, and on the Canadian side, the nomenclature in the will is to automatically supersede any other will that's been written. So you specifically have to make sure that your Belizean will and your Canadian will recognize each other. Because otherwise our lawyer in Canada indicated that if it supersedes our Belizean will, it becomes null and void and everything must go through the Canadian will.
I so appreciate you bringing that up, and I feel like you highlighted a major omission for our viewers. Okay, so usually when you are drafting a will or having a will drafted for you in, let's call it, English-speaking world, common law jurisdiction, there are plenty of boilerplate provisions. They tend to be always in these wills. It really doesn't matter if it's Canada, the United States, UK, or here in Belize. And usually, some of those boilerplate provisions are, well, one way down at the bottom is a catch-all. Anything that I haven't mentioned, that goes to Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, or something like that. But one of the other boilerplate provisions are what you referred to, and that's right up at the top. So I, Ryan Wrobel, hereby withdraw, revoke, and basically say that any other wills that I assigned up to this point are null and void and gone. This supersedes, as you were saying, Sandra. And so that's very important. I should have mentioned, and again, thanks for helping me out. I should have mentioned that the Belizean will is for assets on the ground here in Belize. Again, we can talk about land, motor vehicles, safety deposit box, bank accounts, life insurance policies here in Belize. There's nothing in English common law, and when I use that phrase, again, we're talking about the laws in the English-speaking world that hold you or limit you to one will. So you could have, as you mentioned, Senator, a Canadian will that deals with all Canadian assets, as well as a Belizean will that deals with all Belizean assets. There should be no cross-contamination. You shouldn't mention the same property in both wills, and that boilerplate provision that I mentioned and that you highlighted, I hereby revoke any wills that I put together before this point. That's a provision that you don't want in any of these wills if you're dealing with multiple jurisdictions, assets in more than one country.
We have done a couple of real estate deals that involved probate and the lack of a will in Belize with foreign owned property, and it is messy and it takes a long time to sort out.
Yeah.
We're talking years and years. So to have everything sorted out and in place beforehand is a must.
Want to find out more information about how you can start your life in beautiful Belize? Then email us at info@lawbelize.bz.